The old Bill Melton, I believe.
Yes, that's standard for Bill Melton. If he loses the first game, you might as well just go get the other color
Yeah.
because that's.
So you see right out the gate, Jason went ahead and threw a free hand to try to test the end of the board. So you may see he's going to say, you know what, my right cross, left cross isn't working for my lag. Let's go ahead and try my free hand right down the middle of the board, see if I can get a little better lane.
He's got a very good free hand, so.
Towards the end of the board here, these guys are going to try to stick as many weights as possible. You really want to, like I said earlier, get the lines of the board. You want to be extremely comfortable if you do get a big lead that you know every stick, because like you saw in that first game, Jason's trying to put 2s and 3s in there and make Keithahn stick, and Keithahn knew the lines and was able to stick a weight there, a huge weight, to open up that game a little bit from 7-3 to 10-3, I believe.
Yeah, Jason really wanted to stick that last weight. You could see that he was not happy to hit it and go, because it does give Keithahn a chance to check out the speed right away.
Yep.
Just stick the first 3 weights that, even though Keithahn's dialed in, he hasn't had a chance to confirm the speed, which now he has.
I don't think that's coming over. You know, that right span, you throw it straight up the board, it stays pretty flat. Once you get it out, it really jumps over there. That right rail shot, once you start getting it over there, it really jumps. But for some reason, that right span, you push it straight, you're not going to get a whole bunch of break out of it. You'll see Keithahn kind of push that out here. You'll see this weight start to break out. I think it may come back in a little bit here at the end, but you see the different line there. If you throw that firm, how much different that line is. So this isn't, you know, a rail shot here to try to pick out this deep weight. It isn't a bad shot, because you do get the board pulling quite a bit for you. As long as you get it, like I said, just get it started over there, it really, really jumps. See what he decides to do here. Looks like a rail shot. I'd imagine he probably just tries a combo here.
Yeah, when he picked it up with that wide span to begin with, it almost looked like he was going to try and go in behind it or do something.
And there's that
hyper aggressive.
There's that jump right there. And that can really start to play with you mentally. You throw a rail shot and it pulls all the way into the board, and then you throw your span and it stays flat. It's like it's a tough place to be, especially if you love throwing your span just straight. So we saw right there Keithahn trying to just really lag into his weight, I think. Feels like that right cross is a pretty good spot for him. He's going to try to go ahead and just get right on top of his weight. He put that weight there.
It's a dream start, 3-0 lead with the hammer that on the end that you're dialed into.
Absolutely. So I don't think this is too early for me right now to say, you know what, it's 3-0. I want to flip this hammer. If I give up one, I'm down 4-0. At least I get him off the end that he's lagging well too. Let's try to get this thing flipped around. Let's see how Jason practices the lag here. See if he goes freehand or goes a rail shot. Looks like a span, so he wants to get it out in the middle of the board, figure out a different lane as opposed to going right on the outside rails. Maybe he feels like going through the middle of the board, he can get a little better line, and sure enough, he puts a 2 in there.
That's a spot that he'll remember if he needs to steal a hammer, because David's consistently hitting that on the left side of the weight.
Yeah.
So I think maybe similar to the right span from the other end, that it kind of pulls back a little bit.
Yeah. So that's just a protection of the hammer. We'll see if Dave's really. I can't imagine Dave passing up this way, but it looks like he's contemplating it.
That would be a stunningly bad decision.
I wouldn't understand it. You're lagging so well from the other end. Just keep that end. Even purposely
Jason's
sticking
gotta love
that way. It's kind of, unless Keithahn really feels like it doesn't matter which end he's lagging to, he's confident, then go ahead and stick it, I guess.
Well, he looks like he turned that one loose pretty good.
It's got to go.
Oh, I'm thinking it looks like he went to some slower weights there.
So you may have seen that, what we considered or what I considered a practice lag earlier in the frame with the span. Maybe he's just trying to get into a spot of the board that David hops and that we can cover, so he's not necessarily practicing his lag, so to speak. He does want to test out the speed of the board, but he wants to get on a different line, make David shoot at a different line of sight. Hopefully he doesn't know that line, but he gets a good feel for the speed of the board at that same time.
Yeah,
there's a hop weight right there.
As we talked about before, even if it's not really one of your go-to shots and you are struggling to lag, you'd think it makes sense to come back to that.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's probably a 0.05% chance that I lag with a span with either hand, even if I'm throwing 2s and 3s constantly with it. Again, that just goes back to the stubborn method, but there's no way that I go in feeling – now if I have to take that line because there's weights all over the board, I'm doing it, but on a clean board, lagging a span's probably not an option for me. And Jason might feel the same way.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like Jason is using a slower weight this time.
That's a great shot right there.
Yeah, that is
a
you've been looking for a break for yourself the entire game, and you finally get a little glimmer.
So you'll see once Jason gets this weight started over there, it will pull over there. There it goes.
Once it kind of falls there.
Started over there
at the end.
You know that looks a little different from whenever I played it yesterday. It looks like it's kind of pulling off of that weight. Last night, whenever I played on that board, it just went there. The board just pulled it there. It stayed there. I was able to
if it was on the rail.
Yeah, I was able to throw almost a span just in that direction. The board just kept taking it that way. So it's a little different than it was last night. And that's also what makes this game beautiful, is that boards change. You know, you may feel like you have a board wired in singles, and you get on it in doubles, and all of a sudden it's a little different. You're having to make adjustments. Your opponent's having to make adjustments from what we felt like the board was doing 2 days ago. So it's all part of the strategy. It's part of the picking up a board, understanding it, seeing lines. So
here comes another deuce.
See if it spins back. No, it stayed in.
Yep, that very flat weight that he throws kept it there. Yeah, it's certainly one of the very cool, unique aspects of table shuffleboard are the constantly changing conditions.
Yeah, variables.
Things like temperature getting a little warmer or cooler, more or less humidity can affect the speed of the boards and the curve both. So even when you're wired in, you're still need to be cognizant of changing conditions. Out here in Nevada, as in all dry climates, the natural tendencies of the boards is to get flat or even high-centered, with the weights fall into the gutters. So that's a challenge for the staff here. These are kept in a room with very high humidity for the other 50 weeks a year, but over the course of the week they get really dried out, and it becomes a challenge to keep the rails up a little bit and the weights coming in towards the center like all players prefer. Continues to look like a spot where there might be able to take advantage of them at some point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to get Keithahn to stick the weight here. So I'm going to try to put it in a spot that I feel like he's sticking. If he's chipping off weight to that left span, I'm going to push it a little further inside than how he's chipping it off, and hope to get a stick here. I mean, you see that's a practice lag from Jason right there, and it's not close. So you
Yep,
can tell
and as we've alluded to, Dave is very dialed in on that other end and wants to keep the hammer there, and thus he just threw that last weight of his off.
and there you see
on
Jason.
the clear board. He's going to keep the hammer from that end.
Jason switching to a free hand, so he's done with the rails. There you go. I guarantee you from here on out you will see Jason lagging free hands.
Yeah,
I can't imagine him going back to a rail after finally being able to get a deuce in there and feeling good with his speed. I'd be very surprised to see, unless that free hand middle's blocked, for him to change that.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised that you see a lot of free hands out of him right now to just try and get a good, confident, comfortable stroke down the middle and find the end.
Yep.
And as of course you know, Eddie, there are many, many lanes, as we refer to them, in the table, in a weight that pulls up right there where David's did. You might move that a couple inches one side or the other, and the speed could be dramatically different. So
I think you see it float out instead of come back.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. I guess he was trying to stick that, but the speed was, I mean, yeah, it's a deuce. He had to be trying to stick it, but it barely got there and then fell off the side. Interesting that he would throw that as easy as he did, given the score and the fact that he's got the hammer where he wants it, and so on and so forth.
This is a pretty tough spot to cover. Really, on a lot of shuffleboards, you start to see once you get on that rail, it start to kind of pull off here, but that is perfect. I mean, you cannot. I don't think Jason could go down there and place that weight in a better spot.
Yeah, and it actually just moved a little closer to the center as it stopped spinning, and probably took out the opportunity to pick it out. Well, and do you cover it back there in that same spot, or get a little aggressive and try and get up?
Man, I leave it right there. I feel like if I get a little tighter on that, I may see a completely different line. A break on the board. Maybe, it could be a matter of 4 inches. I get a little deeper, and all of a sudden that thing starts to pull off a little more. I want to be right on. That's still it's a great shot, as long as it doesn't keep pulling back, which it looks like it's doing. See, and that's the difference right there, is now all of a sudden that weight starts to pull off a little bit, and you felt like you just do the same shot, it stayed over there, and now you get a little deeper and it starts to come off a little bit. I said I'd love the spot that he put that first cover in.
Yeah, this looks like it should be very stickable.
Wow,
he's
I am really surprised.
Wow.
What?
As good as his left span is, I can't believe he didn't shoot it that weight. Oh, well, that's just sick.
I mean,
what do you do if you're Jason?
It's obviously a great lag, but it's a
very questionable,
mind-boggling decision there. I mean, that's you're up 5-3 and willing to go down 6-5 just because you don't want to stick that weight. Like I said, great lag. It's a phenomenal lag, but a very, very interesting strategical shot there from Keithahn. But like we've been saying, he's loved the lag this way. He feels confident in it, so
I'm sure he can't
he's
wait
gonna
to
throw
get
it.
back tonight and listen to the tape and hear our comments on that frame.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's 4-11, Rob. 4-11.
So what they're doing now, Keithahn feels like it's a 4. Papa thinks that it's a 3. So they're going to get really a flat edge and go ahead and.
Yeah, is it possible from the overhead camera to zoom in on that? From behind it, it obviously looks like it's a 3, but
It's
on the overhead, it's a completely different look.
yeah, the camera angles.
Yeah, if we can
So
leave the
definitely-
camera right there while they actually run the weight checker on it, it'll be interesting to see what the visual looks like.
So like I said, they're going to get a straight edge here, and they will run it along the side of the board. If that weight moves, it will be a 4. If it does not move, it will be a 3. So we'll see Rob, the board man here, go ahead and run this weight. And you see it did not move. So you look at it from overhead, and it looks like a clear-cut 4, and it is sure enough, it's a 3. So after talking with Keithahn a little bit right there between those frames, we kind of were surprised that he wouldn't throw his patented left span at that and try to stick that weight. And I guess he was a little timid of it based on the weight previous dumping. So
Yeah, and certainly if you do shoot at it, the one thing you can't afford to do is chip it into a 3 or 4. But you would think that, that's pretty much his go-to shot, that he would just shoot firm at it. And
that is not my go-to shot, and I'm throwing a left span at it.
Yeah.
So
I hear you on that one.
So you see a stick there. I'd imagine Jason trying to get a left cross.
Passes, so yeah, some way, somehow he's going to try and get in there.
Looks like
It's working its way out in the middle.
And that's a spin we're talking about. That thing's spinning. It's just coming back. That's crazy.
Well, and of course we won't know, but it's possible that touching that back weight kicked it out towards the rail, which bounced it back towards the center harder than it might have gone otherwise.
I don't think he touched that weight.
Oh, yeah, Jason's passing weight. Yeah, when Jason threw that one in there, it just brushed
Did it?
Keithahn's weight
Okay.
just a hair. Talking about the camera angles, that's another one that's consistently getting me when I'm looking at him when they first release them from this end, and it looks like they might have a chance. And then you see the overhead camera, and it looks like it's just flying off the end of the table.
Yeah. Yeah, from where we're looking at right now, they release that weight. It looks like it needs to go just a little bit, then it picks up that top camera, and it's not close.
Well, the hammer's finally switched, but
9-3
he's going to need some terrific shot making and a break or two as well.
9-3 is a little late, but
then again, you know, I mean, if you lag a 3, you're one lag down. You know,
yeah.
You lag a 3, steal a hammer, lag a 3, it's 9-9.
And I promise you, somebody in Shuffleboard's come back from 9-3 before. A lot of people.
Yep, and the Shuffleboard players, if we're telling any stories about that, we're talking about the times that we were on 3 and got there, not the time that we blew the 6-point lead.
I've never blown a lead. I've just come back from a lot of games.
Well, one of my first real Shuffleboard heroes, a guy I really looked up to, Jim Long, who passed away recently. I remember years ago, Jim was a great storyteller, but he was talking about some kind of a comeback thing, and some guy that was listening who didn't really like Jim anyway, he says, you know, every time I hear you talking about you did this, you did that, he said, I don't suppose you're ever on the bad end of that. He said, many times, but the other guy's telling that story.
Yeah. Or it wasn't my fault. He just lagged 3-4s, got out of it. It wasn't the hop 2s.
Well, he's just going to give box and board and give Jason a chance to shoot the stick for 2 was what he was thinking of doing, but he came up short of it, and now Jason's got a chance to claw his way back in a little bit.
I was about to say that is a lot of confidence right there, passing that weight to offer up 2. I mean, if that's at the scoreboard, yeah, go ahead. But
that as far as the old comeback stories go, this has the many of those comebacks have a starting just like this.
He lags a 3 here, and Keithahn's thinking about this weight for the rest of the game that he just came up short of. I promise you that.
All right, well, that's a much-needed frame. Got the hammer switched. Keithahn has not had the hammer from this end maybe since early in the first game, if at all.
And so, you know, with that said, it's a perfect spot to possibly get Keithahn to hit and go with the weight at the end of this frame. You know, he hasn't been sticking weights at this end of the board because he's been wanting the hammer on the other end, so he's just really slamming weights, making sure that they go. He hasn't really been focusing on sticking a whole bunch of weights coming this way. So,
yeah, and a couple of times that Jason's gotten a deep weight on him down there, he has not stuck it, although he looked like he was all over that one. I might be tempted in Jason's shoes to just turn him loose and see what he does with his first hammer from this end.
And that is the other play there. Absolutely is. You know what? I'm fine being at 10-6. I just like to deuce, make him go this way.
If he does happen to push it a little hard and throw it off, and it's 9-6.
One thing that we have seen on this board for the most part is that a lot of players going the way that they are going right now have pushed it a little harder, and it has tended to run a lot more. The lagging end, so to speak, on this board would be coming the other way, not the way that they're going right now. So Papa may feel extremely happy right now having the, you know, he's not thrilled, but he's in a good spot to be able to get some momentum shift in this game.
At the third weight, I think. Yeah.
I don't know what the option is here. I think it's stick that weight 100 out of 100 times. Getting in there up 9-6 on a deep one on an end that you really don't know the end of seems kind of crazy to me. I think you stick this weight and make him either stick or hit and go with his next one. Now there are other players that you look at, a Roger Holloway, David Williams Sr., myself. If you stick that weight, I'm trying to drive it into a deuce. I haven't seen Papa throw hard enough to be able to drive a weight into a deuce, so I don't think that's an option or something that you'd feel.
Yeah, he can shoot hard, but it's definitely not one of his go-to shots for sure.
So I'd expect to see him just let him go loose here.
Yep.
Joe Soto to board 26. Joe Soto to board 26.
Keithahn let that go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let it go pretty fast and was walking down after it right away. And good
that
Lord.
thing just died. Wow. We've seen that in run pretty good. And a lot of that could have to do with, we've seen Jason lag that way a bunch with maybe a faster set of weights. Dave gets those black 16s in there that run probably, I would say, slower than any Federation weight that you produce. And they get in there and they hit a stop sign. So it's a completely different weight, completely different end.
Yeah, it's really been interesting to watch the game evolve over the years. When I first started playing on the road at a competitive level, traveling cross country, most of the tournaments did not let you bring your own weights. So that really kind of came into being at the end of the 80s, and now it's not unusual to see even players that are just entering the competitive arena, players that are threes having multiple sets of weights anymore.
I know.
Me personally, I usually bring 5 or 6 sets with me. Might only use 1 or 2 of them, but no worse feeling than going to an event and finding out that real slow set that you never bring would have been perfect for one of the boards. So
Yeah, I know. I personally, I carry 3. I carry a set of black 20s. I carry a set of regular 20s, and I carry a set of 10s, or series 10s, I'm sorry. So I have my black 20s are relatively slow. Then I have my 20s, which are just your normal medium of the speed. And then my series 10s, which are a lot quicker.
Yeah, we don't run into slow boards that often, but again, if you get one and you find out you got a weight that would have been perfect for them and they're sitting at home, that's a sick feeling.
Yep. So you see, Jason, he's trying to make something happen here. He needs a 4-point frame.
Well, at least 3. I mean, absolutely.
Keithahn really pushed that out. See if it comes back. It sure enough didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Jason absolutely has to get on 9 here, get him in a position where he can lag out with 2 lags.
Let's see, back to that right cross.
Looks like he wants it to go
It's
a
got
little.
to stop.
Well, I don't think so.
No.
No, there's a big shot.
Yeah, that's a huge shot right there. So we'll see just a normal, what we call a normal shuffleboard frame here. It's going to be deep weights from Papa. It's going to be hidden weights from Keithahn. At the end of this frame, Jason's happy with, I think he's happy with Keithahn lagging on a clean board. Of course, he'd like to get Keithahn to hop a 2 or 3 here and be able to cover it, but he is not going to give him a go around, I don't think, and let Keithahn get aggressive here. He doesn't want to lose the game here based on aggressive play.
Absolutely, after having clawed all the way back in.
Right. Man, you see that thing just start to climb back.
No, I mean, I'd probably try and roll this over to deuce or a 3 on that left corner just for grins.
Yeah. I'm trying to stick it for sure, make him shoot at it.
Oh, but you can't do that. Oh.
So Keithahn, if I'm Keithahn here, I want to put a weight, man, maybe right back in that spot. You know, I want him to throw a left cross again.
Well, then again, I mean, if you put it there and he sticks it and it's a huge 1 and you lag off and you had a chance to get on 12 and didn't, although it would put you the hammer back on the end that you've had the most success on.
And I think at the pro level, you don't really, you know, I think a lot of times you're happy lagging against 1. You have a lot of confidence lagging against 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just lagged a deuce going that way as well. So Jason knows he just lagged a deuce there going as well. I think you just slam this weight off. You let him get on 12.
Looks like he's.
And maybe you hope Dave gets aggressive here. You saw that weight really bite at the end. What I felt like really bit at the end. Dave might feel really good in that line, and all of a sudden that thing sails off this frame.
Definitely looked like he turned that one loose.
I think he's asking for it to stop. And that's exactly what you saw right there. So
Yeah,
that lag before the frame before, it looked like it really, really stopped down there. I don't know if they really saw that it stopped down there, but from the above camera, you really saw it really, really bite at the end. Dave feels really good about that, thinks that it's going to continue to do the same thing, and all of a sudden it just runs through it this time, and you get a lag off.
That's kind of what we both thought was going to be the result last time that pulled up. So, yeah, and that's there is no bigger sin in shuffleboard than not getting on 12 there. Now, if Jason lags at 2, he's got a chance to win the game coming back, and you're still up by 1, but you have given up control of the game at this point in time.
Yeah.
I think most of us would rather be down 10-11 with the hammer than
up 11-10 without it.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think you'll see Keithahn just go ahead and take off this weight. Don't. See Papa just go ahead and take this. I think he'll just take
I'm not
this
sure
weight off.
what all the debate is, or what he's thinking.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think you want to.
I guess if he was past it short, but then Keithahn has a chance to clog up the board, and
I think he'd rather be. I think he'd rather be lagging 10-11 on a clean board as opposed to 10-11 on a board against 1, in my opinion. If he wants to put a 1 up there, go ahead and make him put a 1 up there. But you definitely don't want to be lagging against 2. So I think that's a good shot right there.
Yeah.
I think you make Keithahn make a decision. If he passes that weight, I think Papa's sticking it to get on 12. In my opinion, I think Keithahn might try to stick this weight. He just hits and goes with it clean board. And the only reason why I'd say that I think Keithahn wants to stick that weight is that if Papa goes off there, Keithahn gets back on the end that he wants to lag. Normally, you're just hitting that weight off. If it's a normal lagging board, just go ahead and hit the weight off and take your chances at it. Looks pretty good. Has to go a little bit. Now it's short. 11-11. So again, I think you'll see a pretty what we consider a normal.
Yeah, Jason just.
Shuffle.
Well, that's interesting.
You know, and
Jason's weight went off, and
Right.
Keithahn's going to check out the speed.
And that's the thing right there. At 11-11, I think that you're throwing a short weight there. You don't want the guy to check a shot. You don't want him to be able to check a lag. You're throwing a short weight. You want him wasting shots on short weights, and then you want him lagging on a clean board.
And then by the same token, if you make the mistake that Jason did, if I'm Keithahn, I'm going to throw it short. I'm getting on 12 here.
Yeah. But on the same token, Keithahn just lags off the frame before. He probably wants a nice little check on his lag going the other way as well. He knows that
Good point there.
12's not as good as 13. Granted, it's a good spot to be at 12-11, but it's not a shoe-in to get a W. You'd much rather be 13-11 than you will 12-11, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
I'm
that's
trying
a
to lag
good point
with
as we were talking about a couple of frames ago where that weight pulled up and then the next one went sailing off, which is kind of almost the same speed. We expected the first one to go off. Now we probably is in that position where he wants to confirm the speed a little bit because he's a little unsure of exactly what it does.
And that is a great weight for Jason to stick there. That'll stick
absolutely.
Stick a short deuce. That's the ideal spot in this situation at 11-11. There's not a better spot that you can be at than putting a short deuce in there without the hammer.
But I think this is his third weight. Still want to stick it, but yeah, obviously if it was, no, it is his fourth weight. Okay, we're getting the hand signal there.
I mean, that's, oh gosh, it came back.
I would certainly think that came back, but as we found out from the overhead camera on that one weight, that's still not a bad shot necessarily.
No.
You get a reasonable chance of getting to 12 on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you do give him a free.
You give him a free run at it, and then you give him the lag that he's been lagging to that he wants.
Meaning the end.
Correct. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yes, the end
Yep.
that he's
No, I
been wanting
knew
to
what you
lag
meant.
to. So you're up 12-11, but now he has the lagging end. I think both players would agree that now, at this course in the game, they both feel like coming the way that they're coming right now, that is the lagging end.
Yep.
And even though you're up 12-11, it's not an ideal spot without the lagging end. You're not. I don't know if you're necessarily a favorite going the other way at 12-11.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Jason, I feel like I have to lag out the next frame. Because I'm pretty sure that Keithahn's getting out with, if he gets to lag that in two more times.
And if I'm Jason here, I'm trying to get on 13. I don't care if I have a deep one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, I want to have something on the board versus Keithahn's lag here.
Oh, my.
It's a big miss there. So we'll see. Keithahn, I think that weight's deep enough to say, you know what, I'm okay with just covering it. I don't really need to get something there because the last thing you want to do here is try to go around that weight and go off. You have to have you have to have two here. If the player that's up 12-11 wants to try to bury a weight on you at this score.
It looks like he's going to try and go in there. Well, I'm assuming Jason's just going to hit this hard and make a double.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
I mean, in a cash game, you might try and pass them both.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it here.
So I thought Keithahn's weight was a little deeper the frame before or the shot before. Now this one is the depth that I thought the first one was. You do not want to go off with it here.
Well, and he's going to try and pass it again.
It's a pretty
Well,
good shot there. You know, right here, I think that Jason really, really wants to stick that deep weight.
Oh,
I mean,
if he doesn't stick the weight,
this is not a it has to go kind of weight. This is, yeah, it has to go, but I want to stick
have
this
to
weight.
stick it.
I mean,
and if he does, I mean, he's got a chance.
This board pulls the other way. See how that just kind of stays out there?
Wow.
The whole board just kind of keeps going that way. And
yeah, I think I got to throw a left span up the rail there
and
try and roll that weight or give myself a better chance. Freehand is
so.
Just based on what we saw from that board was a tricky little shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was making the shot that he felt like he needed to, but
I don't know if I'm throwing a shot that I haven't really thrown to stick a weight all game long in that spot there.
Yeah.
I'm making sure to hit it, but I want to stick it. So, well, there you have
exactly. It's not like there was a lot of practice shots at that. That was almost like you're hoping you're making a good guess at it, which is tough position to be shooting game weight in.
Right, absolutely. So, congrats to Dave Keithahn. He's going to move on. I'm not sure who he has next, but we'll be back on the next one.
Thanks, Eddie. Enjoyed that.
Thanks, John.